DoubleVerify authenticates digital media for the largest brand advertisers. We warrant and demonstrate that the impression that an advertiser ultimately buys and places is in a brand-safe environment, that it's viewable, and most importantly, it's fraud-free. So our goal is to really maximize the media investment that's made across any serving platform, whether it be through a publisher, a network, or in a programmatic environment. We really serve customers across the board. So we serve the advertiser directly and or their agency, but our technology is also embedded into many of the largest platforms, buying platforms, inventory exchanges, and networks. Fraud comes in a lot of different flavors. There's site fraud, where the site that an ad appears on is misrepresenting itself and disguising itself because it's kind of a destination that the advertiser probably wouldn't want to be placing their ads in. It can come in the form of how an ad is actually rendered. So you can stack ads in ways that you can stuff a lot of ads on a page in ways that is not very optimal for the advertiser, and it's done in sort of fraudulent ways. But the third area that probably people are most concerned about and that has grown the fastest is bot fraud, non-human traffic. And it follows the money. So it's become pretty significant on the display side of media, but as video media has become more important in the marketplace, bot fraud has really started to proliferate video advertising in a pretty big way, particularly because the demand is exceeding the supply to some extent, so advertisers have taken their eye off of quality a little bit, and the CPMs are higher. So if I can deliver a video to an advertiser, I can make more money either wrongfully or rightfully than perhaps a display ad. Bots are not big ad servers or big server farms, delivering high volumes. They're actually individual computers like your own that have been infected, probably from some kind of malware that was wrongfully downloaded. And it might be sitting dormant until the botnet operator decides to light your machine up. And the point is that traffic looks a lot like consumer traffic by its nature. It will visit many quality sites to actually dress itself up and create a profile that is very attractive to an advertiser. It's very hard to detect, but more importantly, its life cycle may only last 48 hours, 72 hours, so it's critical that it's identified quickly and that it's communicated through the system to be able to identify and block it by the inventory provider on the buy side. Bots do things that make them look human. In the spring, they golf, they grill, they garden, they visit sites that make them appear like a consumer. They look at travel sites. They go deep into auto sites to make themselves appear like an auto intender. They fill out forms. They might shop for financial services. And by the time they enter the inventory supply chain, they have all of the characteristics of a very high value, high interested, very potentially responsive consumer.
So what's the opportunity for the bot operators? What are they trying to do? I mean, that's, in terms of their proposition.
Well, they're clearly siphoning media dollars, out of the ecosystem. So they'll end up on sites that, again, you probably wouldn't otherwise advertise on, but in this case, you're not really buying the site, you're buying the profile of the, presumable user. If they're bid on in a programmatic environment, or they're perhaps, bought by a network who then, is reselling them, downstream, again, they take on all the characteristics of a very hot, in-target, in-category user. We've made great progress. It's not perfect, but perfection is the enemy of good often. So it's really about what's the trend line look like, and the trend line is doing amazingly well. We have partners like Brightroll who have taken a very strong position in pre-identifying bot traffic in a pre-bid environment before the bid is actually even contracted. And we have other providers who have taken the time to clean up their own inventory so that they're not pushing bad stuff even into the supply chain to begin with. But we still have a long way to go. I mean, look, the reality is that these are very sophisticated operators. When certain things are uncovered, they jump to a new strategy. And so from a continuous investment standpoint, at least at DoubleVerify, we think it's really critical to stay on top of not just the current, sort of state of the state, but to continually invest in and watch over the quality of the traffic that's being delivered at the source.